Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order a special meeting of the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust. And we've got a number of items to consider today, but they're basically associated with Project 180. And, I've asked Eric Winger to come forward during the course of the meeting. Not yet, Eric. Well, I'll holler at you. But you can stay there if you like. To discuss all the Project 180 projects which make up the bulk of our agenda today. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting, and they have been distributed to the trustees prior to this meeting. Are there any comments or questions?
No, but move approval.
Second.
Have motion made and second. Please cast your votes. And it's 2-0. Actually, it's 3-0.
Jim's walking through the door.
You need to do yours too.
Yeah.
To show. There you go. Okay.
It's getting better all the time. It's unanimous approval. The next item, and people who voted is unanimous. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the claims against the trust since our last meeting, and these, again, have been distributed to the trustees prior to this meeting. Are there any questions or comments about the claims?
No questions, move approval.
A motion made to approve ratify the trust's expenditures. We have a motion made and second. Please cast your votes. And those expenses are ratified. Thank you very much. Next item on our agenda is item 4, items for individual considerations. And this is one I've asked Eric to go through because we have several of the items on our list that deal with Project 180 and some expenditures associated with those projects. Eric?
Well, first of all, this is a TIF 2 project. This isn't really Project 180. This is the Cottage District Alleyway Program, and Eric can explain the agenda item, but this is an item that the trust approved an allocation for several months ago to improve some alleyways in the area generally around Midtown, south of St. Anthony's and north of the Central Business District.
So, Mr. Chairman, I really don't have anything to add. I think Ms. O'Connor covered most of that. So it is a project that we're helping coordinate and we're helping facilitate, but what you're awarding today is the water improvements portion of that work, and I can answer any additional questions that you might have.
Are there any questions of Eric?
Second.
Have a motion made and second to approve. Any further discussion? Please cast your votes, and items are approved. Item A is approved. We have to vote on every item separately. Item B is similar. It's a change order number 2 for the McGee Center Lobby renovation project, which is in Myriad Gardens, as I recall.
So I'm happy to address B, C, and D. These are all items, the next 3 on your agenda are all Project 180 related. Item B is actually for the McGee Center lobby. It's a change order for $3,315. There were some countertops, some overhead electrical, and then there's also some changing stations in the restrooms that are included in this change order. Now this work is complete, so we anticipate this being the final changes. We actually had the final inspection on the 9th of this month, and so at your next meeting we would anticipate bringing that final acceptance forward to you. The next item is item C. It is Project 180 as well. It's addendum numbers 1 and 2 awarding joint contract with Oklahoma City and the Water Utilities Trust for package 7A. So this is that next installment of 180 streetscapes. The work is predominantly going to be focused on Kerr and Harvey. So this is going to be Kerr from Hudson to Harvey and then Harvey from McGee to Park. And so there is ongoing construction, obviously, in the downtown area, but as we've mentioned before, we're coordinating that construction, making sure that we keep detours and we keep activity on streets so that we don't limit traffic. But we are ready to proceed with Package 7A, similar to what we've done with the previous packages. And then the last item that I'll address is item D, amendment number 2, change order number 4. This is also Project 180. It's package number 4, and it's the final acceptance. You're going to note a significant credit being returned of $205,000. This adjusts for some unit quantities and for some of the work that wasn't required, but it is the final acceptance. This was predominantly the work that was along Walker and Sheridan. And so those 3 are all 180 items today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have on each.
Are there any questions of Eric on these projects?
I do have one question, just a reminder, if you would. The 7A was because the estimate was so high that you didn't get previous bids right, and then you rebid this and split it out, if I recall?
We did. So you'll recall this was bid earlier this year, and we rejected the bids because they were high. We actually had 7 as one total package, and so we've created 2 packages, an A and a B package, really dividing the work into 2 separate bids. It's helped us make it available for additional contractors, and so this was the rebid of just a portion of that. We'll actually have additional work being bid. So there are actually 2 additional bid packages. There is a set of final plans that is out for bidding now, and then the last package, of course, is the area in front of the Santa Fe Hub, the Gaylord improvements. But these bids did come in under the expected budget for the base bid, so I would say that our strategy was successful on having that project rebid. We are, however, not awarding the alternate, which was for the street segment that's just north of the Oklahoma Museum of Art, and so we will consider bidding that as a part of a future package.
Any additional questions of Eric? We have to vote on these items individually, so we're voting on item B right now, which is change order number 2 to the McGee Center project.
Move approval.
Have a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Cast your votes, and the item is approved. Item C is one we've talked about quite a bit, and it's associated with the water utilities and the Water Utilities Trust.
Move approval.
Are there any questions or comments, or we have a second?
Was there a second? Then I vote.
We have a second. Whew. Worried about that for a minute. Any further questions or comments? Cast your votes, please. And the item is approved. Item C is another 180 project. Are there any questions or comments?
Move approval.
Item C. We're doing D right now?
I'll second the motion for D.
I thought we had to do it each of them one separately. Or you did C already? Okay. Yep. Any questions or comments on item D? Please cast your votes. Item D is approved. Item E is next. And this is a joint resolution. Kathy, would you like to say something about this one?
This item is a resolution to approve the covenants in the deed for the 4th Street Apartments. They received a TIF allocation of $1 million. As a part of that, we put requirements in their deed that they make a minimum tax payment. So this is the documents that effectuate that.
Are there any questions about item E? Hearing none, the chair would entertain a motion for approval. A motion approved and second. For item E, please cast your votes. And item E is approved. Item F is a joint economic development agreement with the City of Oklahoma City and Medici Partners to provide assistance in the development, financing for the Medici commercial office project in the vicinity of 100 East Main. Kathy, would you like to say something about this one?
Yes, this is another tax increment financing project in Bricktown. It's to renovate the Medici building into the offices for Tapstone Energy. They've asked for a TIF allocation of $1 million. They plan to create, I think, about $17 million in value at this property. So we think that this is a great addition to Bricktown to have some more office use and creating more daytime activity in the area.
Thank you, Kathy. Are there any questions or comments? Have the item moved for approval of the item? A motion made and second. Any further discussion? If not, cast your votes. We already have them up there. Passed unanimously. Item G, memorandum of agreement between the Oklahoma City Economic Development Trust, the Oklahoma City Metropolitan Area Public Schools Trust, Independent School District number I-89 of Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, and the City of Oklahoma City, provide TIF assistance for the Oklahoma City I-89 Administration Building Project and the Inverse School Project. Kathy, would you like to say a word or two about this one?
If you recall, in the downtown TIF district, we have an allocation in the budget for public schools. It's been there since the TIF district was created, and one of the purposes of that allocation was to help I-89 with school facilities that are inside the project area for the TIF. The school district has identified that they would like to use those funds to help with the administration building and with the Emerson Alternative School renovations. So that's what this item is for, is to enter into that agreement to provide them with the TIF funding.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions?
Is that me? The 1.5 will cover both, the public administration and the renovation of Emerson?
Approximately $1 million will go towards the administration building and the renovations associated with that, and then $500,000 will go towards the Emerson School project.
And didn't the gold bond, the bond issue 2007, prior bond issue for MAPS for kids, didn't it provide dollars in it for the administration building?
Right. The MAPS for Kids sales tax had funding in it for renovations, I think both to Emerson and to the administration, and to either build or renovate a new administrative building. So both of these will be funded through MAPS for Kids. There's some TIF funding, and I imagine the school district also has some of their own capital funding in these projects.
Are there questions now?
I do, just a related question. I didn't see a map, so maybe just help me with the addresses. I see there's a Northwestern Street parcel, and then there's the North Classen parcel. I assume those are adjoining. And
They are across the street from one another. It's a bank that's kind of on between Classen and Western, and then there's the piece of property to the south that they also own, where there used to be a drive-through bank there a long time
is that the CMR?
CMR
location?
property.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other location that's addressed off of Western was an old bank as well? Is that what you just indicated?
The North Walk, there's
I think there's a typo in the memo.
So 715 North Walker is obviously Emerson.
Yeah.
Correct.
But I'm trying to determine whether the new administrative offices are on two parcels that have come together, and the reference to is 516 Northwestern.
That must be the way it's addressed.
That's the way the address is for the parking lot south of the CMR facility.
So I-89's administrative offices on Klein will all relocate to this
Yes.
area? Okay.
Has there been any effort to close that street yet? Any request to close?
No, sir.
No, and I don't think there would be. I think it's one way, maybe near where Linwood, it runs into Linwood, so I think they plan to keep those streets open.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
What's the anticipated timing of all this to complete?
I know they have acquired the facility for the administration building. I think right now they're working on plans and specs on that. Regarding the Emerson, bids will be received in the coming weeks, and they'll start on that, I'm assuming, within a month or two, probably 60 days. So, but I know that's one of the things that pushed to get this through sooner rather than later, was to get them the money so they can award the contracts and do things like that.
Any other questions? A motion made and second to approve the item. Further discussion? If not, cast your ballots. Item G is approved. Are there any comments from the trustees? Comments from staff? There's a staff member getting up with a comment.
I just wanted to introduce to you Regina Story. She's coming to us from the Water Utilities Trust to help us out here as we administer the Economic Development Trust and all of our programs. So I just wanted to recognize her today.
I have a question, too. During the course of our last city council meeting, the city council approved a substantial amount of money to acquire the BNSF property at Tinker. And there was one councilman who said, good, because that took up all our money, we wouldn't be able to give any more away. How much money do we have left that is not encumbered?
Of the $75 million that's been authorized by the citizens, the $57 million has been allocated to date, when you include the BNSF number. So we have a little bit left to continue to try to create primary jobs in Oklahoma City.
Very good. That's great. Thank you. Any other questions? Any questions from the...
I'd like to just make a statement. As you know, Amanda is part of the team with the economic development. She's going to be sitting in on most of the TIF meetings, and we've kind of divided duties. She's going to do most of the TIF projects, and I'm going to do the SIP gold bond type projects. So you'll see us both.
We're twice blessed, I guess.
Yes, we have a great team.
Good. You certainly do. Any comments from the citizens here? Are there any citizens here to make comments? If hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.